Howdy, my name is Amy, and the scientific name of my species is the Diphorhynchia citri, and the common name for the insect I'm defending is the Asian citrus psyllid.
Howdy, my name is Abby, and I'll be defending the Anoploraphora glabripinis, or more commonly known as the Asian longhorn beetle. And our debate topic is which of these insects is considered the better invading species.
The invasion of the Asian citrus psyllid originated in Eastern Asia and then proceeded to spread to other places around the world. In 1998, it found its way into the citrus centers of America. The Asian citrus psyllid is an invasive species that attacks plants by feeding on a large range of citrus plants, including but not limited to oranges, lemons, and grapefruits. It is not just limited to citrus plants, though. The psyllid also infects the closely related family of ructicine plants that include jasmine and curry leaves. Psyllids do damage through multiple forms while eating. The first way is through feeding on the leaves that is citrus of the citrus plant. The second way is in which they do damage is infecting the plant with toxins. In the nymph stage of their life cycle, psyllids feed on new growth of the trees. They eat the new shoots and leaves and leave behind salvatory toxins. These toxins can stunt the growth of the trees and make new leaves deformed, leaving them twisted and curled. Also released through their feeding is the bacterium that causes HLB, or more commonly known as hung hung long bin. This is more commonly known as citrus greening. The term citrus greening comes from the fruit's inability to mature properly, leaving its green color instead of a vibrant yellow or orange. The leaves present abnormally small with blotchy molting. Outside of the leaves, there is a greater impact on the fruit tree yield, on what the fruit trees yield. The fruit from the infected trees are disproportionately small and have growth defects, high acidity, and are unnaturally bitter. They also have aborted seeds, and they tend to drop prematurely. After a few seasons of poor production, the tree will eventually stop bearing fruit and die. These fruits are not viable for the market, and thus their harvest must go to waste. This is a massive economic impact, as the whole nursery has to be redone if infection is found. Extensive money has gone into monitoring programs to track the population of psyllids. According to a study done by Lin and others, over the last 5 years, it is estimated that over $1 billion per year has been lost and over 5,000 jobs have been lost. Grove bearing areas in Florida have declined by 30%, along with a 74% decline in production.
The Asian longhorn beetle began making outbreaks in China in the 1980s. This beetle has a black bullet-shaped body that is about an inch to an inch and a half long with white spots and long antennae. These beetles made their way internationally to Europe and North America in 1992, causing the destruction of trees. They have a uniquely diverse genome that contains enzymes that degrade the primary polysaccharide that is found in the plant cell wall. This is a primary factor in their destructive nature in forests, backyards, and public parks. Their genome also possesses the ability to combat toxic plant oleochemicals. This trait allows the beetle to become more competitive in the fact that it can overcome a plant's defenses. The Asian longhorn beetle has chemosensory genes that work with pheromones and plant pheromones that allow it to find host plants. Host plants are plants that an organism uses to live off of. So, by invading a host plant, it can eliminate the habitat for other organisms, causing an imbalance within the ecosystem. They have metabolic plasticity, which gives the beetle the ability to feed on various plant species. This trait allows them to become an even more invasive species, given the fact that they are not forced to feed on just one plant or tree species. The Asian longhorn beetle attacks living, healthy trees. It has already attacked more than 80,000 trees in Northern America and is known to be more destructive than other insects such as moths or tree-destroying fungi like Dutch elm disease. It feeds on the tree's subcortical tissue and phloem. Older larvae will tunnel their way deep into the tree and reach the heartwood for feeding until they are fully developed. These beetles cause an immense amount of ecological and economic damage. Because of this, there have been multiple developments of eradication programs each time there is an infestation. New York and Chicago have spent $4.2 million on tree removal and replanting in order to help fight the infestation of this beetle. This beetle has microbes in its gut that allow for nutrient recycling and allows the beetle to survive in poor conditions, making it a strong insect that can combat non-ideal situations, such as when it invades an unhealthy tree. There are very few obstacles that hold this beetle back from invading any tree it pleases and eventually destroying nature overall. There are many traits of this beetle that allow it to be a fierce competitor and an invasive species.
While my partner makes a great point about how invasive the Asian longhorn beetle is, detecting the beetle is quite easy compared to the Asian citrus psyllid. It is as simple as looking for signs of the beetle on the tree. Other signs include such as exit holes, egg sites, and frass and tunneling created by the beetle. The same cannot be said for the Asian citrus psyllid, which makes controlling the invasiveness all the more challenging, leading to higher levels of damage. Detecting the psyllid is difficult as it can take multiple years for trees to start showing signs of infection. The psyllids lay the groundwork in one tree and will feast on a whole orchard while going undetected for years. With invasive species, prevention is key. Killing the source is and letting as little damage as possible happen. When these citrus trees show no signs of infection and nothing can be done to prevent further spread, thus the psyllid infect the trees and the damage is already done. These clear markers make identifying an infected tree much easier, therefore making the prevention of the beetle much easier than the psyllid. This leads to the psyllid being a greater threat to the environment.
While the Asian citrus psyllid has the capability to negatively impact the production of some fruits from some fruit-bearing trees, it does not have as large of an infestation rate as the Asian longhorn beetle. Also, not all fruits grow on trees, so the beetle does not cause total eradication of all fruits. Fruits can also be grown in other places that may not have an infestation. As mentioned in my opening statement, my beetle was originally found in China. It then rapidly spread to locations in Europe and North America. This is not so much the case for the psyllid. While my insect may be easier to spot than the psyllid, my insect has a larger population that covers a larger area of geography, which in turn leads to a greater number of infestation of trees. While my insect does not target fruit-bearing trees, it targets a wide variety that can provide homes to other organisms and wood for buildings, homes, and parks. It also has biological components that make it a more fierce predator. It does not seem that the Asian citrus psyllid infests as many commonly known trees that are used for everyday things. While the psyllid has caused a decrease in money and jobs, my insect has made cause for the next step of the eradication program, which has a high monetary demand.
My partner refutes that the Asian longhorn beetle infects a wider range of areas. The Asian citrus psyllid can be found throughout Asia, parts of the Middle East, Africa, South and Central America, Mexico, and the Caribbean. Within the United States, the Asian citrus psyllid is present in over 10 states, plus 2 of its territories. The psyllid can be found across all continents. While the psyllid attacks a smaller populations of trees, this could lead to the eradication of these tree species. The psyllid needs a certain citrus trees to live, and if they do not have these trees within their area, they will seek them out elsewhere. Whether it be within someone's home garden or the next closest orchard, quarantine zones have to be established that cover over a 100-mile radius. No new trees are allowed to be grown in these zones, thus affecting the citrus economy as a whole. There is no known cure for the infection caused by the psyllid, so when an infected trees are discovered, it must be destroyed to prevent further spread. The destruction of the population hurts the gene pool of these citrus plants. If the invasion continues, this will be detrimental to the entire fruit industry.
There is a strong emphasis on the damage the psyllid does to areas that involve fruit-bearing trees. While society does need fruit-bearing trees for the citrus economy, these trees can also be grown in non-infested areas. My insect targets the lumber used to build buildings, homes, or crates to transport goods. The citrus goods cannot be transported to far destinations if there are not enough wooden crates to transport them, since the Asian longhorn beetle destroys the trees used. The psyllid may cause a need to quarantine trees from areas, but my insect has caused need for eradication programs of it. My insect tunnels deep into the wood, lays its eggs, continues to burrow, absorbs the nutrients until the tree dies. Although this is not the most fast-acting invasion, it involves a large geographical range. While a psyllid could lead to the extinction of some tree species, the Asian longhorn beetle causes extreme damage and is known to be more destructive than Dutch elm disease. This fungus invades the tree, leading to vascular wilt that is almost always fatal. There is no known cure for the destruction of this beetle. The only current method to save the trees is through early detection if you are lucky enough to spot it.
While there is currently no research being done over the positive impacts of this Asian citrus psyllid could have on society, there have been research done to prevent Asian citrus psyllid that furthers the agricultural community as a whole. A study conducted by Chowan and his colleagues researched alternative measures to prevent the spread of psyllids through insecticides. Different levels of detoxifying enzymes have been found in psyllids, which affects how greatly they are affected by insecticides. Due to these enzymes, different strengths and mixtures of insecticides are needed to keep them at bay. There are implications that these different mixtures that are being made could be used to help eradicate other invasive species that share similar properties to the psyllid. This could include aphids and other small pests. The Asian citrus psyllid causes harm to citrus trees across the globe. They are invasive threat that is currently holds no promising research, but hopefully in the future this can change and the impacts they have on ecology will become positive instead of a negative one.
The Asian longhorn beetle is used in research because it provides a better understanding of natural decomposition. What they feed on is given back to the environment through their biological processes. While they feed on living, healthy trees, they also decompose dead or injured trees and are able to return the nutrients they receive back to the soil. This is important to study because it allows them to play a key role in the natural decomposition of nature and can help researchers better understand the advantages and disadvantages of this form of decomposition. Researchers can learn more about the behaviors of threatening or invading species and how to handle them to prevent issues in nature. This can help them gain a better understanding of how to prevent their infestation and, in the end, save millions of money on forest and eradication programs. Since the beetles can cause so much damage to our hardwoods, it is important to study them to gain a better understanding of the motive behind their destructive nature so the issues can be tackled. Studying this will allow for a more prosperous environment because this invasive species will be resolved.